is a master at whatever it is that you're a master at, right? First and foremost, you're a master at yourself. You're a master at being you. Can't nobody take that away from you. While you're here, remember that there are certain values and ethics and codes that you go by that rule your world. This is what I refer to as a self code. You have your own code. You have your own way of doing things and processing life on the outside of you. There's nobody that's going to do it the way that you do it. And you're here to express that. So while you're here, while we're meeting, remember that, keep that in mind as you express yourself and communicate. Now, I'm coming to you from the position of being in IMC Nation, and like many of my brothers that are here tapped in with me, you know, we've been here from the beginning of Lions Den, right? The inception of Lions Den was the beginning of the ignition, right? It was the beginning of the fire that is lighting up the world. We're literally going out into the world and lighting the world on fire with our philosophy, with the way that we are, the way that we are being, the way that we express ourselves, the way that we are communicating is all a reflection of this energy that has been ignited within the inside of each and every single one of us who have been coming into contact with AZD. Not only that, I have my brothers that are here that aren't a part of IMC Nation, and the reason why you're here is because, you know, you've seen some kind of a spark in me, right? That has ignited a fire in you. And we're all here meeting at the table to discuss that, to discuss what it is that makes you, you, and what is it that you're bringing to the table. Now, a part of this tribe, as Masters of Self, there are 6 values that we go by. And I want to continuously go over these as we, you know, begin each meeting, because, you know, I went over them, I think it was the second meeting. And there was only so many people there, you know, that were able to get that upload. But real briefly, there's 6 tribal values that I have here written down. And each one of these are reflections of values that I've always held for myself, right? Throughout my life, I've gone through experiences. So when I say one of these values, right, know that I've experienced the opposite. And you being here, you've probably experienced the opposite of what this value would be. So that's what we'll commune on, right? That's what we'll collectively gather and use our perspective to go out into the world. And really that's what a mastermind is, right? We connect on certain points. We figure out what works for you, what works for me, and how do we combine that, right? We think through that process. We go through the thinking steps and the process of connecting the dots, because it's so important that we're here connected. It's don't undermine your experience at all for any reason. Let me find my remote. These lights bothering. Don't sell yourself short, right? At no point in time, don't sell yourself short of your personal experience, because once again, there's nobody that's going to live life the way that you're going to live life. So once again, it's a pleasure, man, to have everybody here. Real quickly, I'm gonna go over these, and if anybody has anything to share from their perspective, from their light on the inside, and they want to speak from, if there's anything that they have insight on in their life, or anything that you know, you feel like the group would grow from, because this is a mastermind group, and the more that we connect, the more that we express, the more that we figure out what makes you you, then that adds to the collective when you express that, right? When you say, look, this is what it is that I'm doing in my life that's adding value to me. That's adding value to my life and the others that are around me. And because I'm doing this way, doing this way, I know that me sharing that here, right? Because you can trust and believe you can share whatever the fuck you want to share, right? There's nothing to hold back here. You can say, yo, I'm a guy, right? And within this context, that's going to be true until the end of this class, right? Until the end of this tribal meeting, that's going to be true, because that's your truth, and you're here to express your truth. You're here to be you, and nobody else is going to hold that back. So the 6 tribal values, man, the first one is responsibility. And I have next to that, the ability to respond to life. Man, it makes me smile, man, because I'm in the position right now where I'm responding to life, right? Whatever circumstance or situation it is that we all are experiencing, we're all experiencing something, because being on this process, we're meant to grow every single day. Every single day, we're meant to push ourselves further and evolve and make sure that we're not going to be the same person tomorrow, because we've done the work on ourselves today. When you do work on yourself, you're always going to have, something to offer the world tomorrow, right? Without a doubt. You're always going to have more to offer somebody else the next day. So moving forward, remember to think with that. Think with, how am I going to respond to this situation or circumstance, or this scenario, or these people that are, speaking to me this way. If they don't know what's going on with me in my life, and they're choosing to react, right, to the energy that I'm putting out or the words that I say, instead of reacting ourselves to that situation, what we have the ability to do is respond. Respond is just simply taking the ability to choose whether we respond to life or not. That's the way that we're going to move, right? And that's one of the values that we have here. The second value is faith. Okay, faith, meaning for myself, I've been a man of the Christian faith for my whole life, right? I've been tapped in. My dad's a pastor, and I've been in that environment my whole life. But faith was one experience for me before, just experiencing the church life, right? And then going out into the world and experiencing my own life, right? And choosing to choose to believe in something greater than myself. That was where my faith experience was, right? So at some point, I reached the point of doubting, right? The opposite of faith for me is doubt, right? I reached the point of doubting myself at one point in my life, right? I remember, being in my apartment in Tucson, Arizona. After I had just broken up with my girl, I decided to stop going to school. I said, fuck college, fuck school. And I remember being in that position and literally feeling like, damn, bro, like, what if I don't make it? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I felt at that time. And luckily, I had came into, contact with AZD in 2014. That was the end of 2015 when that was happening. That conversation was happening. So I always had that in the back of my mind, like, man, it can't be that bad. Because at the same time, AZD was going through a breakup in his life. And it, for me, it paralleled, it synced up so beautifully, because I got to see how he handled that experience for himself, right? And witnessing that just from afar, like, I don't think he didn't know that I was going through a breakup. He had met the girl that I was with, because we were on after hours at one point, which was part of his Saturday night live lectures. And man, that was a dope ass experience, you know what I'm saying? Because it was like she got to meet the girls, and at the same time, I think it was us four. It was like 3 other people that were online at the same time, and I think one other dude had a girl with him. And it was just dope. It was dope to see that dynamic, But after that, right, I went through a period of serious doubt. Like, I really was thinking, like, damn, bro, what the fuck am I doing? You know what I'm saying? That, like, I know I believe in myself. I know I believe in this dream, but everything seemed to fall. You know what I'm saying? Everything seemed to not go my way at that point in time. When that happens in your life, when you're really living on purpose, that happens because you're dissembling your reality so that you can take on a new one, so you can walk into a new one. That's the only reason why that happens. When you reach your rock bottom, you reach that low point in life, or you feel like you're doubting yourself, whatever the case may be. If you ever reach that, know and understand that that's happening for a reason, and you're going to move past that, right? We go back to the Stoic philosophy. The obstacle is the way. The obstacle in the path becomes the path. If we have that as a Stoic, or as a base of our philosophy, the base of our understanding of how we approach life, we won't go towards, or we won't go away from the obstacle in our path. We'll go straight towards it. We'll move in the forward direction, because we know that going forward towards that is going to provide more success. It's going to provide more clarity for my life. It's going to give me more answers, because I'm moving in a direction of where I have so much resistance. I don't want to do that, right? If I say, yo, I don't want to go over there and live over there for so long, or whatever the case may be, right? If that's the scenario, you got to recognize that that's a choice, right? You always have the choice. So faith for me came in when I reached that point of doubt. And then I looked from the opposite end of where I was. I looked up, right? Or I looked in the opposite direction, and I knew that me having faith of me becoming something greater was what was going to pull me forward. Okay, so that's faith. That's the second value. Respect, man. Respect. Give what you want back from life. Give what you want back. If you want respect, it's simple, man. Give respect. That's the number one thing that I learned in the martial arts is saved from let me see, which 10 key concept is that? And we have 10 10 I don't know why that's taking a lot. 10 key concepts for Tong Soo Do, which is the martial arts that I studied. And number 5 is respect, right? Respect your elders is the my bad. It's called the Articles of Faith. Articles of Faith is what it is. So number 5 is respect your elders. So that was something that I ingrained, or my father really ingrained in me from a young age, right? In establishing that respect. But more so, having that in a martial arts structure, looking at other men and looking at them with respect, looking at my grandmaster and his master, and then looking at, my dad's teacher, having all these different authority figures to look at, I was able to put things into a frame of mind of what respect looks like. I didn't realize that there were other people in this life that were growing up without a true idea of what respect is, right? There's a lot of people that walk around without the idea of what respect is. So a lot of people will experience the opposite of disrespect. And I've been in a position where I've been disrespected. First and foremost, I think we've all been disrespected by some women, you know what I'm saying? To some degree. We keeping it real, we're keeping it 1,000. Somehow, some way, that's majority of the time, that's where your disrespect's gonna come from. Right? Because men, we oftentimes know how to show respect to another man. If you show respect to another man and that man does not respect you back, then we have the conflict, right? Number 4 is loyalty. Loyalty, loyalty, loyalty. It feels good to belong somewhere and show up when you're needed. That's just a bottom line, right? It feels good to show up when somebody was counting on you and you show up. That's a great feeling, man. It's a loyalty. It's a bond that you cannot break, right? And that's something that I know that we've all held so true. So we know it's vital in IMC Nation, right? That's one of our highest values is loyalty. Loyalty is royalty was a phrase that AZD used to always say. And it was something that will always stick out in my mind because loyalty is royalty. I mean, how do you know that somebody's royal? How do you know somebody's worthy of your time, worthy of your energy, worthy of your words? Is because they show that loyalty. They are connected with you on a deeper level, right? A spiritual level. Number 5 is integrity. Integrity. I've experienced many times in my life where I haven't been integral, right? And then many times where I have been. I remember specifically, I was at a family function way back in the day. It was me, my 2 cousins, we were running around, and it was somebody, it was, some family member I didn't know, but they had a jar of, I think it was quarters. I think it was like a jar of quarters. So it was probably like $500 in quarters, right? And it was like somebody left it somewhere. And I remember at some point I grabbed it. I think I took it from my cousin and like took it to the person at some point. And I believe at that point, I remember my cousin feeling some type of way about it. They didn't want to talk to me or what have you. And for whatever reason, that was the case. So I gave the person the money and they were all happy and they were like, oh, thank you. And they gave me some money, right? And that didn't feel right after I got the money and after I gave them the money and shit like that. So I remember in particular going back and really being scared to go back to that person, right? And tell them like, yo, it wasn't me that found the money. It was my cousin. And then they were like, oh, really? And they were like, okay, wow. So give me that money back. So they snatched their money back from me. And then they were like, and then they gave it to my cousin and they gave them more money at that point. But I remember specifically the one time, one thing that I remember out of that situation was my aunt. I remember my aunt being in the distance. I remember being so scared because, my dad, I have a black dad. And most of us black fathers, or most of our black fathers, whoop our ass if we, ain't acting right. You know what I'm saying? So keeping it real, that's what I was scared of. You know what I'm saying? My dad, I know he heard about it, but he ain't say nothing. He was just like in the background or what have you. So I remember my aunt commenting on it, and she was like, wow. She was like, you're a man of integrity, huh? I remember looking at her like, and kind of like smile, but try to hold it back because I was like, man, I ain't trying to, act all cool because my dad's, right there watching, So having experiences like that, right? To where you do something that's wrong, right? And you can see, as you backtrack, or if you go to correct it or what have you, it's almost like a bad energy, bad karma that you experience at that time. If you pay attention to that, you correct that at that moment in time, and then you go back and you're honest, right? That is a level of integrity that many people don't have. Whether people are conscious of it or not, most people are not operating with that level of integrity. So hold that as a very true value, a deep value. The next one is purpose, man. Purpose. Moving towards our target, we cannot be stopped. No matter what, when you decide on your purpose, when you decide that you are here to impact somebody greater than yourself and you're here to serve somebody else, if you have that mentality and you align that with your purpose, there's nothing that can stop you. Nothing at all. No matter what, no matter who is around, no matter what you feel like is going to stop you, you're going to move forward because you're a man living on purpose. There's been thousands and thousands of men in our history, successful men in our history that have spoken on the power of having a purpose. Your definite purpose is what Napoleon Hill speaks on. And to tap into your definite purpose is to keep you in alignment with everything that you want. Truly, everything that you want is going to come as a result of you walking the steps of your purpose. Now, part of the self code for myself is figuring out, and when people, I got Miracle J here online and my brother Brian here online, and Pyro was on earlier. I'm not sure if he tapped out, but everybody that has been on my podcast, we briefly go through the astrological chart, their natal chart. And the reason why I do that is because it gives you a different level of understanding of yourself, right? You have that different level of understanding of yourself. You understand, okay, this is, more aligned with my purpose. You know that your purpose aligns with the way that because your natal chart is simply a blueprint of you, right? It's a specific reflection of where the stars were at the time that you were born. That's how you know you're unique. That's how I know that there's nobody like me, because nobody was born at the time that I was born. Nobody was designed the way that I was designed. And that's just straight up. That's just what it is. And when we tap into that, man, there's nothing that can stop you. That's how you know more about yourself. And I have another saying that I say, which is knowledge of self is knowledge of wealth. That's your value. The more that you know about yourself, the more that you have to offer to the world. All right. So those are the 6 values, the 6 tribal values that I have here for the Masters of Self. Now, each one of you have your own values in this life. If there's anybody that wants to speak on their personal values, please do so, because, these are the values that I've seen as some of the most important values to have within a group. But is there any other values that any of you guys can think of that you want to add to the mix, or you want to speak on for yourself and how it's been applied for you? Anybody at all? If not, we'll go ahead and continue. Dope, man, dope. So, my overall mission with this mastermind group is to connect the dots, man, to connect our minds. We have a true network to tap into. All of us are operating to some degree with a certain level of consciousness, and then a certain level of unconsciousness on how we operate in this world, right? And to understand that, you can really understand the value that you have to offer this group, but everywhere you go, right? You tap into the network of minds, right? That allows you to, Marcelo, that's a dope as a bandana, bro. Salute. That's dope as hell. He's got the AZD on the joint. Yes, sir. That's dope. We all have the capability of tapping into this network of mind. The more that we speak on our desires, the more that we speak on what it is that we're here to do, what we value, what it is that we hold as the number one philosophy, what it is that your personal code is, right? When you can speak from your personal code and say, man, this is how I carry myself. I don't know how any of you motherfuckers do it, but this is how I do. If you can be real with that and deliver that, you know, we connect our minds, right? He says to sleep from my shirt. Oh, okay, so for sure. That's his movement. You know, the more that we can connect our minds, the more that we have the arsenal, right, to approach life with. So if I know that Miracle J, he spoke, I think it was last week, he spoke on self-talk. Well, he's done it a couple times. But your personal self-talk, the talk that you have when there's nobody else around, that's the most powerful talk, right? That's the most powerful time to impact yourself, because it's you. And who is you? You are conscious, right? You are conscious. You're not unconscious at any point. You are the conscious being, and there's an unconsciousness to you. That unconsciousness, if you speak from that unconsciousness or you tap into that unconsciousness, um, you know, we have automatic responses to our environment when we're operating in our unconscious, right? But if you can tap into that, you can plant seeds, right, into your subconscious mind. And when you can plant seeds into your subconscious mind, what you can do is water those on a regular basis. And that's what affirmations are. You know, affirmations are constantly, you know, this is the seed that I planted way back in the day. Let me continue watering the seed. Let me continue speaking on this, because you're providing more life to that. You're giving more life to that. And that's an unconscious process. You know, that's an unconscious thing. You're already thinking one kind of way. You're already feeling some kind of way. You're already being some kind of way without even being conscious of it. But there's you as the consciousness, right? You who is aware. That's what I mean by consciousness. You who are aware. And then there's the part of you that isn't aware. Some part of you is not aware of how you're carrying yourself, or how you're speaking, or how you're feeling, or how you're processing or thinking in your mind, right? And these are the things that we can witness when we see people face to face, right? Or when it's interesting, man, when you're actually communicating, right? You can witness the changes in people's demeanors, right? You look at their faces and you can see, man, this person is really, really tapped in on whatever it is that the fuck they're stuck in their mind at. But you can see when somebody's stuck in their mind, right? If I'm sitting here and I'm like, you know, then I'm not focused here, right? You know that my mind is elsewhere. When you pay attention to that, it gives you a different level of understanding on how to communicate, how to impact other people, right? You can deliberately say things and feel things and utilize your consciousness, right, to impact other people's unconsciousness. Because oftentimes, if you're not, I know because I spend a lot of time doing that, right? I spend a lot of time receiving information. So when I get here in this opportunity, or if I get in conversation with, well, anybody here really, you know, we get on one-on-one conversation. It's a back and forth, right? But it's an exchange of energy, right? It's a convolucence, right, of your energy and mine, and us combining these minds together, right? That's what allows us to network, to mastermind, right? So as we move forward, man, mastery, accountability, and discipline, those are the three keys to mastering yourself. That's what I think, right? To have the mindset of wanting to master something. That's what mastery means for me, is having the mindset of approaching, you know what, I'm gonna do these pull-ups. Let me think about mastering this process. How am I going to do this to the best of my ability? How am I going to do this as if there was nothing else for me to do today, right? How am I going to do this one activity as if this was everything that I had to give for my life? How am I going to do that? I got to go towards that objective, knowing that no matter what, I'm going to go towards that, and that's going to evolve for my experience, because I'm going towards it. I'm going through it. I'm not going away from it. I'm not holding back. I'm not trying to divert my attention from, you know, my objective. My objective as a man, that's what we do. We say, yo, this is where I'm going. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that. If you set your mind to go and do something, who's going to stop you? It's just you and you at that point. So mastery is one of the keys, right? Accountability. You know, there's a level of accountability that you can get from your brothers, you know, that are around you. You know, the people that you're connected with. How many, AZD asked a question not too long ago. He said, you know, how many people can you really call on at the you know, turn of an event, the moment that you need somebody? How many people can you call on, right? That are going to show up and be there for you and with you, ready to go, no matter what the situation is, no matter what the circumstance is, of course, with, you know, with the same mind. I'm talking the same individuals. But you know, if you have the ability to discern between right and wrong, and then you can discern whether to align yourself with your brother, right, or not, or either it's your brother or it's not. But I consider everybody here as a brother, because this is the inner circle. This is everybody that needs to be here at this moment in time, right? So I consider everybody here as a reflection of myself, and vice versa. You should consider me as a reflection of you, because to some degree, the only reason why you show up, the only reason why you're here, is because you see something in me that's in you. That's the only reason why we tap in with AZD. Same shit. That's the only reason why we tap in with each other. Is because we see something in ourselves that is a clear reflection of each other. So when you are in connection with others and you're holding yourself accountable, right? Something that I like to do. I sometimes I think I've forgotten like 2 or 3 times total over the last few months to check in. But we check in every single day on my Telegram group, right? And then we do the same, and of course in the AZD's line there. But every single day that we're tapping in, it's a level of accountability. You're holding yourself accountable, but it strengthens the group, right? When everybody's doing that, when everybody's holding themselves accountable, and we see that, right? Everybody's checking in. It gives you a different level of power. It gives you the sense of connection, because you know that it's not just me doing this shit. It's my brother Marcelo across, you know, wherever he's at. Marcelo, where are you at, brother? What state are you at in?
Oh, what's up, brother? Oh, sorry,
Oh,
buddy.
oh,
Um, I'm in Southern California, Simi
oh,
Valley,
okay.
Simi Valley, California.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Yeah.
You ain't far. You ain't far. Okay, cool. Yeah. Um, man, it's a pleasure to have you here, man. You know,
Thank you.
it's dope to know that. Yes, sir. It's dope to know that Marcelo's out in Southern California, you know, doing this thing. It's dope to know that Miracle J is out in Houston, Texas, doing this thing. You know, it's dope to know my brother Brian is down the way in Chandler, you know what I'm saying, doing this thing. You know, everybody is where they are. Everybody that's on here, you know. We got a whole list. We got Eddie, Josiah, Kenny, you know, my brother Troy, of course. You know, everybody that taps into this frequency, man. You have something that's so unique to you, right? And so you don't want to miss that. Don't miss that as a part of your experience. There is nobody that's going to man, I keep saying it, but it's so true. Like, there's nobody that's going to live like you. There's nobody that's going to have your expression. So every moment that you get, right, remember that you are you. And as you are, that's what I was talking about, accountability. As you are, and you are able to hold yourself accountable, right, in connection with your other brothers, know that it always is going to start with you. It's always going to start with you. And the more that you can hold yourself accountable, the more that you have a sense of solace, right, or a sense of sacredness to your process, to your evolution, to your space, right? When you create that level of sacredness, there's no experience like that. You know, there's nothing that anybody can do in that moment. That's your moment with you and your God, you and your religion, you and your problems, situations, darkness, demons, whatever it is that you want to fill that blank in with. That's you doing that and experiencing that. So that's your moment of power, right? To hold yourself accountable gives you more power. Why do we see the level of power in AZD? It's because of how accountable he is with himself. Before he checks in with anybody else, he's checking in with himself. Trust and believe. And we all do the same shit every single day. You wake up, you look at yourself in the mirror, you wake up, you get on that camera, you wake up, you taking your cold showers, you wake up, you're doing your meditations, you're doing your trainings every single time, and every